As we continue into our linear review unit, we want to look at multiplying polynomials. There are many methods that we can use to multiply polynomials, but there are two of them that I want you to become very familiar with. In later assignments, you'll be able to choose the method that you like the best, but for now, we're going to be practicing doing two different methods to solve the same problem. The first method that we're going to be looking at is the algebraic method. When you have just one number on the outside, followed by multiplying numbers on the inside of the parentheses, that's just called the distributive property. When you have more than one number in parentheses multiplied by another one, we use what we call the FOIL method, and that's what I will demonstrate here. F stands for first, which means that we would be multiplying the first two terms in an equation. O stands for outer, which means that we would be multiplying the outer two terms in an equation. I stands for inner, in this case, 2 and the 6x. And L stands for last, which means that we would be multiplying the numbers 2 and 1 together. So let's demonstrate how this works. When I'm doing 2x times 6x, that gives me 12x squared. When I multiply the outer, 2x times 1, that gives me 2x. When I multiply the inner, 2 times 6x, that gives me 12x. And when I multiply the last, 2 times 1 gives me 2. We're almost finished. The last thing to do in multiplying polynomials is we have some like terms to combine. So on this question, I see that 2x and 12x are the same type of terms. So when we write our final answer, 12x squared is still in our answer. 2x and 12x are now combined to make 14x. And then 2 is also a term. So this is our final answer using the FOIL method to multiply polynomials. Now we'll see the same exact example done again, but we call this the box method. The way the box method works is you draw a box. In science, you might be familiar with Punnett squares. It's very familiar to the same setup of a Punnett square. But what you'll do is that 2x plus 2 will be terms that you write on one side of the box for each length. 6x plus 1 will also appear in different separated parts of the box. This is also called the window method. So now what we have to do is on the inside, very similar to what we did just right here, we're going to be multiplying. 6x plus 2, I'm sorry, not plus, multiply 6x times 2x gives you 12x squared. That's an x, it's kind of hard to read. Okay, 2x times 1 gives you 2x. 6x times 2 gives you 12x. And 2 times 1 gives you 2. If you start to notice some similarities and differences, all four of these numbers still appear. It's just instead of writing them out algebraically, we've used a visual to help us do that. One thing that you do, just like you do in Punnett squares, is that now that you're going to see that this diagonal is where my like terms are, just like they were right here. So with my final answer, 12x squared Your diagonal equals 14x, and your last term is 2, giving you the same answer as you got using the algebraic method. Let me write that out a little bit better. Okay. So you see two methods for solving multiplying polynomials. There's actually more, but these are the two that I would like you to be familiar with because they're going to help us in other Algebra 2 concepts that we'll be learning this year.